In this video, we're going to cover topic 8.6, which is finding the area between curves that intersect at more than 2 points. So we're going to ask, how do we find the area between two curves that intersect at more than 2 points? And you're going to be able to say that I can calculate the area between two curves when they intersect at more than 2 points. We're only actually going to do one example because this really isn't that much more complicated than what we've been doing before. So we're going to have two graphs. We're going to have the graph f of x equals x cubed minus x squared minus 10x, and the graph g of x equals negative x squared plus 2x. They do want us to sketch and shade it. I am going to kind of do this problem two different ways. For my sketching and my shading, I'm going to use the power of technology to help me out. So I'm going to get out my graphing calculator, and I could use Desmos as well, but I am going to go to my scratch pad from my home screen, which means I just touch this button right there that looks like a little calculator, and I'm going to go ahead and type my first function in, which is 3x to the third, and then I kind of push over a little bit and I get minus x squared, and then minus, oops, I wasn't done yet, minus 10x, and then I hit enter, and then it graphs it, so I've got a fairly decent graph there. And then I usually just take and pick this guy up and move him off to the side. And then I'm going to hit the tab key, and then that brings up F2, and I'm going to put in my G graph. So I've got negative x, ooh, that's not what I wanted, tab, negative x squared, and then, not yet, tab, why is it not bringing it up? There we go. There we go. Plus 2x. And hit enter. All right, so there's my graph. And you got to kind of be a little bit careful because you'll notice that it definitely looks like it's crossing here and here, but you don't necessarily know if it's crossing in that third spot. So it actually is. I'm going to adjust my window a little bit. I'm going to go to my menu, window zoom, window settings, and this is where we're at now. I definitely don't need nearly as much X as what I am getting there. So I'm going to just, not that button, menu, there we go. And I am going to delete out my Y. I'm going to go from like -5. Oh, wait, I need the Y, sorry. Let's go back to 8. I don't need as much X. I'm going to go from -7 to -5. I can go -5 to 5. And then on the Y min, I probably need to be actually lower, right? So let's go to -10 and see what happens. Now I have a much better picture of my graph. So I could take that and just sketch it over onto my picture here. So I'm going to use that for now, for my sketch. And now hopefully you see the problem that we have is that sometimes the blue graph is on the top and sometimes the red graph is on the top. So what we're calculating is this area here and this area here, and we need to add them together actually. So the first thing I need to do is calculate the points of intersection. We're going to go ahead and practice doing that by hand. I will show you how to do that in the calculator as well. But let's start by doing it by hand. So I'm going to set the two equations equal to each other. So we've got 3x cubed minus x squared minus 10x equals negative x squared plus 2x. So we know we got to get it equal to 0 to get it to go anywhere. I'm going to add the x squared over. So when I do that, my x squareds actually cancel. I'm going to subtract the 2x over. So I get negative 12x equals 0. I'm going to factor out a 3x, which is going to leave me with x squared minus 4 equals 0. I am going to set 3x equal to 0. I could factor that, or I could just set it equal to 0 and use roots. So x equals 0, right? 0 divided by 3 is 0. I'm going to move the 4 over, and then I'm going to take the square root. Remember, I have to take a plus minus. So my three values are -2, 0, and +2. So is what x equals. So I know I've got to, this one has got to be the -2, that's got to be the 0, and that's got to be the 2. So what I know is that I am going to be integrating, for the first integrals are going to be from -2 to 0 of the blue curve, which I could just call f of x, but I'm going to go ahead and write out, because we're going to do it by hand. It's 3x cubed minus x squared minus 10x. And then I'm going to subtract the red curve, which is the -x squared plus 2x. And then, of course, we always write a dx after it. And then we have to add that to the integral from 0 to 2, and now the red curve is on the top. So I'm going to say from -x squared plus 2x. And then, of course, we always subtract. We're going to subtract the blue curve, which is 3x cubed minus x squared minus 10x dx. Let's simplify a little bit. I'm going to distribute this negative in, so it's going to go positive there. I'm going to distribute this negative in here. So I'm swapping all of my signs. And then let's see if we can do some combining of like terms before I try to integrate. So the 3x cubed is going to stay 3x cubed. -x squared and +x squared are going to cancel. And -10x and -2x is -12x dx. Plus the integral from 0 to 2. Let's see, -x is going to be -3x cubed. My x squareds, again, they're going to cancel. And then we've got 2x plus 10x is +12x dx. So that looks a little bit better to integrate. We're going to integrate the 3x cubed is going to be 3x to the 4th over 4 minus 12x squared over 2 from -2 to 0. And then plus -3x to the 4th over 4 plus 12x squared over 2 from 0 to 2. I could, of course, reduce this to 6 and reduce that one to 6. I'm going to be a little bit sloppy about it and leave it kind of like that. All right, so now I'm going to start with the 0. It's super important that that 0 goes in first, because if not, we're going to have a sign mistake. So I get 0 minus parentheses. Now we plug in the -2. So -2 to the 4th is 16, and then 16 times 3 would be 48 over 4. And then we've got -2 squared is 4 times 6 is 24, but it was subtracting. And then we're adding. 2 to the 4th, again, is 16 times -3 would be -48 over 4. And then 2 squared is 4 times 6 is 24. And then this time the 0 is on the bottom, so we're subtracting 0 plus 0. All right, we're going to simplify a little bit here. We've got -4 goes into 48, 12 minus 24 plus -12 plus 24. We've got 12 minus 24 would be -12. Double negative goes positive. These two add up to +12, so we end up with 24 as our final answer. Now let's see what we can do with this in the calculator. Normally we would do one that's messier in the calculator than this, but let's go ahead and try this in the calculator as well. So let's start from the points of calculating our points of intersection. So we're going to go menu, analyze graph, and intersection. I'm going to go from the left of it, drag it. Notice my intersection point came up, -2, 8. And then I'm going to go menu, analyze graph, intersection. I'm going to go from the left to the right. There's my intersection point. I'm going to do it one more time because I have 3 intersection points. Menu, analyze graph, intersection from the left to the right. So there's my 3 points that just popped up. I'm going to go back here to my calculator page now, and I'm going to choose Control plus, I think is what it comes up as. No, it's not. Shift plus. Let's try that. It's been a while. There we go, Shift plus. Okay, so now I'm going to integrate from, I'm going to type, my integral was from -2 to 0. Now, I need to know where my f1 was and my f2 was. So the blue function was in f1. So really what I am doing here is I am integrating from the blue one, which is in f1, right, minus the red one, which is in f2. And then I'm going to add that to the integral from the red one minus the integral of the blue one, basically. So we're doing f1 minus f2 and then f2 minus f1. So let's try that in the calculator. So to get the functions where we have them already, you go to var, and I'm going to do f1 first. I have to type in an x, minus var f2 of x, and I'm going to put the dx after it, and we're going to do this all in one calculation. Ooh, make sure you get the big cursor, plus. I'm going to do the shift plus again, and I'm going to go from 0 to 2, and I'm going to tell it I want var. This time I want f2 first of x, and then plus, not plus, minus var f1 of x dx. We're going to hit enter, and we ended up with the exact same thing we got when we integrated by hand.